Hello, 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 and welcome back to Talking to Tequila with Chloe. That's me, Chloe. How are we doing this week? We have a jam-packed week. I will say that we are maybe a week, maybe two out on my finished podcast studio upstairs. And when that time comes, I cannot wait to have a guest. Like, we're going to have a 2-for-1 special on the TTT with C, and I really can't wait. Now, the thing is it's going to really depend on if I'm even able to get a guest, because Lord knows I'm making enemies, which we will get into, don't you worry. No, and listen, I don't think it's my fault, but we'll get into it. You guys can help me decide. This week we have a lot going on. I'm going to give you a little checkup on Marilyn. I'm going to give you a checkup on a Tacky situation. Work drama. Really annoying. Can I be real with you guys for 1 second? I'm so annoyed. I am so annoyed with this work drama, but we'll get into it. It's the tackiness of it all. Tequila time. A lot of news coming out of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Beyonce ticket sales. Hannah and Paige have a new announcement. Sinners update. Weekend 2. What the hell's going on? Politicking. Amazon versus Trump. Ra-ta-ta-ta. Who would have thought the billionaires are at war? And Tequila TV. You guys shop that for me. I want to do a little The Last of Us I'm pissed off conversation, but I don't really know a good segment name for TV time, like Tequila TV. But the thing is I don't want everything to be related to tequila, because that's about my dog. So now we're saying like dog TV. That's not the sentiment I'm trying to give. And of course, this week, Sva Sva, chic, c'est la vie. Sva Sva. Okay, let's get into it. First and foremost, big announcement about my life, which is I have extended my Annapolis contract until January of 2026. That's right, I'm going to be in Annapolis, which is a suburb, for the foreseeable future. Now, am I happy that I have job security? Absolutely. If you're new here, I'm a travel nurse. I do 3-month contracts. Sometimes they extend way beyond 3 months. You can go up to a year. And if you and the hospital that you're with are vibing, they'll keep you for a whole damn year. So I am now extended officially a year, 2 days shy of a year, which means I will have a contract during the holiday season, which I try not to do. But then again, like I said, my job security is important. Now, am I a little sad that I'm going to be in a suburb for a whole year? Yeah, I prefer a city life, just to be honest with you. But at the same time, with my life trajectory right now, I think it's good that I'm so close to home. I think I need to focus on my goals at hand. And maybe being in a city wouldn't help me. I don't really know. I'm trying to have a silver lining here, okay? Long story short, I'm going to be in Annapolis for a year. Now, I do want to just highlight, I am wearing a blue shirt today. And I really do like this shirt. However, I feel I look a little frumpy. And if you haven't checked out my YouTube, you can check out my YouTube videos, which are the full episode on YouTube. So if you're more of a visual person, come on over. Take a look at this shirt I'm wearing. It's giving frumpiness. But you know what? We're going to move past it. Now, this is the reason my mind is we're going to jump right into it, people. This is the reason my mind is I also have no makeup on today, and I let my hair air dry. So if you want to talk about a normal woman, a woman of the world, a woman of nature, a laid back woman, some people may say, that's me right now. That's me today. Now, why did I choose not to wear makeup? I'm going to be honest with you. I got a lot going on today. I'm meeting my friends at a park to play with their kids and to hang out with the girls. And I have to record earlier than normal, which is noon. That's right. It's noon, people. It's noon o'clock. And I didn't have time to do my makeup. Not only that, I'm not in the makeup mood, okay? And I'm really not. I want to get sun on my face today. I want to get a little base color at the park, and I just want to be a natural woman. Is that too much to ask? Now, I did put on a teeny tiny little bit of lip color because one thing that really bothers me is when my lips, me personally, when my lips look pale on camera, because I feel like I'm like, hi guys, I'm here. Don't worry. I'm not anemic. I'm just pale. Okay. Let's get into my work situation, which really is just annoying me to the point of just annoyance. Do you know when you're so annoyed that you can't even really put things into words? And my mind is preoccupied. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of context to this, and I'm going to try to do my best to explain it while still giving anonymity to people and protecting myself, because Lord knows my job would love an excuse to fire me. So I'm not going to give him an excuse. Now, this is not my Annapolis contract, obviously. This is my home hospital in Pittsburgh that I have been with for 9 years. And I had bosses. I had a boss named Chuck. He was the best boss I ever had in my life. And I had a boss named Marlene, the best boss I ever had in my life. Now, they knew how to manage, okay? They knew how to be extremely reassuring, soothing, still, firm though. Like once I had gotten into a little tiff on the phone with someone, and my boss called me in and he's like, "Did you do this?" And I was like, Yes, I did. And he's like, "Okay, great. We like each other, right? You just made my life harder with paperwork. So do me a favor. If they're pissing you off, why don't you come in here and say this. And you guess what? I'm going to bitch with you. I'm going to be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But then we'll just bitch in my office in private. And then I don't have to write 10 emails that make my life harder. Can we do that?" Do you know how nice that was? That to me, that was like validating, because he was like, "Yeah, that is annoying. It's actually the most annoying thing that I've ever heard. You're so right. But I'm busy and I don't want to write emails." So it was like validating, but it was also like, "Girl, don't do that again." And I was like, "Okay, word. I won't do it again." And I didn't do it again because he acted like a normal human being and not like a PR, these big corporate places where they have to like, you can't have a normal conversation. They literally have to follow an algorithm of when they're speaking to you. And it's actually the most frustrating thing on the face of the earth. But anyways, so this is the long story short of it all. Okay, I'm going to try to be concise here. My job suffers from an astronomically high number of call-offs. Astronomically high. Let's say we have about 20 people on the team. Any given day, there is a call-off happening. Which you might say, well, it's a big place. That kind of could be normal. No, you don't understand the call-offs that we have here. Every single day, call-offs. Sometimes multiple people call off. We're supposed to run a shift with a minimum of 7 people. Now that's like a full day. It's normally 4 a.m, sometimes 3 if it's a weekday. Like, I don't mean a weekday, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean like a week staffing day. 2 people in the evening, and then 1 person overnight. That's 7 people. Okay. Now let's not count the overnight shift right now to just make it easy. So on any given day, there should be at least 6 people during day hours, sometimes 5 if it's a really weak scenario. Not only do we have a huge call-off situation, sometimes when I'm at work, because I don't know how in the weeds I want to get with this, because I also don't want to, I'm kind of over it because it happened a few days ago and I was really revved up and mad, and now I'm kind of just so mother effing over it. But still, it is a good point, because I've never been called tacky before in my life, and a girl called me tacky, and that's kind of what I want to get into. I want to get into the brass tacks of the tackiness of it all. So the point is when we're at work, certain things happen that I feel like I cannot rely on certain coworkers. I'm going to leave it at that, okay? I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. Now, our hospital used to have a call-off policy that you could only have 3 call-offs a year. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what scenario went down, but that changed. And now there essentially is no call-off policy. So you can just do whatever you want, essentially. Okay. Now, there are valid reasons for calling off. There are valid reasons for being sick. There are valid reasons for being hospitalized. There are valid reasons that come up. I can acknowledge that. But I just want to speak in reality, okay? When there was a call-off policy 5 years ago, there were like 2 call-offs a year from a person. And then the policy went away, and now there's like 20 call-offs a year from a person. Right? Like, can we just acknowledge that there's a difference and that it might have there might be a direct relation to the fact that now you can just do whatever you want? Okay. So, and I'm trying to gather my thoughts and still be a little like guarded, or like a little like mysterious about it. So, I acknowledge that there are reasons that people might actually have to call off. I acknowledge I'm not the call-off police. I acknowledge I'm not even your boss. But I also acknowledge that every shift I've worked in the last 8 months, I have worked short because of call-offs, which did not happen 5 years ago. Okay? That's just the fact of the matter. And there's a certain group of people that never call off, and then there's a certain group of people that call off basically every week. All while acknowledging there might be actual health ailments happening. I have to be clear about that. Okay. So I go into work last week and we have a 50% call off or not showing up or holes in staffing. 50%. Normally there should be 4 people in the morning on a good week, sometimes 3. There were 2. Normally there should be 2 people coming in to the afternoon shift. There was 1. So on a day that there's normally at least 6 to 7 people, there were 4 people, 1 being an overnight shift. That is a huge, huge gap or gash in staffing. And again, like I've said, essentially for the past 8 months, I have worked every single shift with 1 or multiple call-offs. And a few of my friends have had to work that, by the way. Which is why I'm also annoyed, because I have a friend who's a very hard worker, and there have been some days, like he came in one day to help out, and then the entire morning shift left. So he wasn't even scheduled that day. He came in to help out, and then one by one, I'm not feeling well, and everyone left. Maybe one person stayed, I can't remember. He deals with that literally every week, okay? So we come into work, there's a 50% call off or vacancy. And I texted in the group message because there's a unofficial work group message on an iPhone that has every employee plus our 2 bosses. And I sent the message, the call offs are getting out of hand. Because they are. And I'm so sick of people gaslighting the people that show up to work and work hard with being like, well, that's not your place to say this. That's not your place to have an opinion. That's not your place to comment that. Yes, it is. If I'm the person that has to work short every time I work, and by the way, I'm casual. It barely affects me. But it is still so infuriating and annoying that every single shift you work a call off. And there is nothing anyone can do about it. There's nothing that can be done because apparently that's just the way it is now. So if there's nothing that can be done about it and people can just do whatever they want, why can't I say this is getting extremely annoying? Except I didn't even say that. I said the call offs are getting out of hand. That's what I said. And then my coworker chimed in, who has also worked short literally all the time for the last 6 months, 8 months, he said, I'm not picking up daylight shifts anymore, or I'm not picking up weekday shifts anymore. Because he's the one that picks up, helps out, and then people call off or leave him alone. Okay? So I left it at that. And then someone entered the chat a few hours later and said, the Calloffs are my martyr USA, martyr victim USA. The Calloffs are my fault. I apologize. But you could have just called me out directly. First of all, I am not trying to be rude, but who said that you were the most important that I'm calling you out directly? I never mentioned your name. And guess what? I wasn't specifically talking about you. I'm talking about the team in totality not being good coworkers. I'm just going to say it. Okay? I'm just going to say, they're all pissed off at me now anyways. I'm just going to say it. I wasn't calling you out directly because it wasn't just about you. It is the general sentiment that I feel I cannot count on my coworkers, when 5 years ago, I felt like I could count on my coworkers implicitly. Right? Now, the thing is, the caveat of this is, because now everyone wants to act like you called out people with medical ailments, and that's not your place. You are judging them on their medical ailments. Let me be real. Right? Because we all talk, we all chat. I generally have a good rapport with most of the office. Do you know how many people tell me, I'm calling off this week because I'm partying Thursday and I'm going to be hungover Friday. I'm calling off Friday. I'm calling off this week because I hate this girl and I don't want to work with her, so I'm calling off. I'm calling off this week because I am sick of working here and it's annoying and I don't like my morning coworkers, so I'm just going to call off I might even tap into this or that and just start calling off all the time. Now, when you guys say this to me and then proceed to call off, I would assume some of the call offs are not legitimate, right? Right. But then I'm being told, well, it's ridiculous for you to assume just because they told you they're going to call off, you don't know if they actually called off for the reason that they told you or if they really did get sick that day. So I feel gaslit. I literally feel like a crazy person. You told me you're going to call off, and then you called off, and then I said, what the F is up with all these call offs? And then you go, well, how dare you? You don't know if she actually got sick. I know she said she was going to call off because of a hangover, or I know she said she was going to call off because Lisa doesn't like Becky, but you don't know if they really got sick overnight. Oh, okay. So we should just work in made up fairy tale land now. Okay, heard. Great. So the person says, victim, you should have just called me out directly, even though I didn't call them out directly because it's not just about them. And then another person chimes in. I think the comment was tacky to begin with. Excuse me? You're calling me tacky at 8:30 in the morning when I'm working with 50% less staffing? You're joking me. You're actually joking me, right? You're joking me, right? Okay. This girl is one of the most... Oh, should I? I'm not going to say it. No. I'm not going to say it. See, that's how you can tell I'm evolved now. I'm not going to say it. This is what I'm going to say. Okay. I answered back a very long-winded message. I said, I think it's tacky that I have to work with 50% less staffing. I think it's tacky I can't rely on my coworkers. And I went so on and so forth. I said, I didn't call you out directly because it's not just about you. It's about the general sentiment of the team now, which is all for one for all, fend for yourself. I don't care. That is the sentiment. I will not be made to feel like I am being unreasonable to say this is a job. Clock in. And this makes me sound like a buttoned up, you better do your job and you better do it the right way. I'm checking I'm crossing T's and I'm dotting I's and I'm reporting back. No. I generally don't care what you do at work. And maybe that's the problem, is I've let it bottle up. But at the end of the day, the type of job that we have is a team dynamic. That's how our type of job works. It's a team. It's not individualized. Now, you do technically do things on your own, but the way our job works is it's a team. It's literally called a team. So when there are recurrent call-offs over and over and over and over and over and over again, and certain people have to work alone over and over and over and over and over again, and there's nothing anyone can or will do about it, I have a right to say in an unofficial iPhone group message, this is getting a little absurd. Because it is. Because you guys tell me why you call off. Now, again, there's a small group of times or reasons where there really may be an ailment. But I'm sorry. For example, there's a person on the team who calls off an exorbitantly large amount that really may have medical ailments going on, who also has told me, I think I'm going to call off 2 days this week and 3 days this week and 2 days this week because I don't like working with this girl. And then they do it. And I'm supposed to just assume it's all actually in the wash and they all actually really just got sick and it's not your place to say anything. I'm sorry. If I'm working short every day I've worked in 8 months, it absolutely is my place to be annoyed. And I don't apologize. So I came into the office a few days later or it might have even been the next day. Oh, honey, it was cold as ice that day. I'm public enemy number 1 in the office. So this is what annoys me. You're supposed to work alone. You're supposed to work with call-offs. You're supposed to work short-staffed for 6 months, 8 months at a time. And if you say one thing, so if they want to call off and party and say that they're calling off for these different reasons, and now let's even take that off the table. Let's say 50% of the reasons are valid, or 65, okay? You're supposed to work like that for 8 months, 6 months, whatever. They're not selfish. They're not being inappropriate. They're not doing any of that. Even though, like I said, a lot of the times they say that they're calling off because they don't feel like working. Okay. But if you say, hey, this is like a total, this is just getting to the point where it's kind of disrespectful to screw over your coworkers like this so often. I'm the asshole. Which, guess what? That's fine then. Albeit. But I've had enough. You should not expect every single day for you to come in to be short. That's crazy. And it's not appropriate. And you're not going to make me feel like the bad guy for saying I'm sick of being taken advantage of. Okay? So it was cold as ice. There's one girl who wouldn't even look at me. That's fine. I actually don't even know this girl. Totally fine. I don't care. There is another girl who I've actually been friends with for years and years and years and years and years, who just jumped on the bandwagon. Noted. Oh, and can I tell you something? This is what I would like to say. Okay. And I know this is just a kind of a bitch session, but it's the reality of what's happening in my life right now. I'm sorry. And you guys are here to listen. And you might disagree with what I'm saying. That's okay. If you do, don't tell me. I'm not strong enough to handle it right now. My feet are numb. I had to slouch down on my seat a little bit. Okay. I said to my friend, who I've been friends with for years, okay, because she said, people have ailments and you're making them feel bad about calling off. Like you called, this person felt targeted or pinpointed or whatever. And they had this health ailment. Okay. I said, yeah, but I didn't make it about that person. Because the conversation right now is there's a specific person who is feeling upset now because they have stuff going on and I called them out for abusing call-offs. No, that's not what happened. I came into work with 50% of the staffing that should have been there, and I said that call-offs are getting out of control. That's a generalized statement because it is. because it's about 7 people and it's been happening for a year, right? So I said, I didn't say this person's name. When I said the call-offs are getting out of control, you guys started a separate group chat where you said I'm talking about this certain person. So when I said call-offs are getting out of control, you guys thought of a certain person and then said it's about that person. You're more guilty than me. I didn't mention the name. I didn't mention any name at all. So if I'm saying call-offs are getting out of control and you all decide it's a certain person and then you guys decide that's who it's about, aren't you guys saying that their call-offs are exorbitantly high? I didn't say that. I said a generalized sentiment. And I said to my friend, and I don't even know if they're my friend anymore, to be honest with you, because I'm really annoyed. I said, if I said a single sentence, the call-offs are getting out of control, and you guys turned it into a conversation directed at one person that you're now running with, that's not my problem. That's your problem. You guys made it about something that's not, it's non-existent. And she said, well, that's how we interpreted the message. I said, it's a 1-sentence message. It's a 1-sentence message. How could you interpret it any other way but this singular sentence? I said the call-offs are getting out of control. You guys turned that sentence into the call-offs are getting out of control regarding Betsy Boop. And even though Betsy Boop has this and this and this and this going on, she actually has this and this and this and this. And how dare she pinpoint Betsy Boop? I didn't say Betsy Boop. And another thing, Betsy Boop is one of the people that told me they're just going to call off because they don't like working with certain people. So what the hell am I to do? Right? First of all, I didn't say that person's name. Now we're getting into 27 minutes of bitching. I'm so sorry. We're almost done. Because I'm just trying to explain to you guys the full scenario, right? I didn't say this person's name. You guys said this person's name, right? So that's not my problem that you guys said I'm pointing out someone that has not been feeling well lately. I didn't say their name. I'm talking about the whole general goddamn sentiment of it all. Secondly, that person that they are now victimizing in saying, how dare she make them feel bad, is one of the people that told me that they're going to call off because they just don't like certain people. Oh my God. So what do you want me to do? I'm not going to feel bad. Now, secondly, I did say to my friend, I will be taking apologies at any time because I said a sentence, which I feel I had a right to say, and you guys have turned it into something that is essentially putting words in my mouth and creating scenarios that don't exist, right? Now, the girl that called me tacky, never again. Never. Oh, never. That's, one thing about me, I'm going to hold a grudge. I'm a big grudge holder, okay? Should that be the name of the podcast this week? I'm a huge grudge holder. Hi, my name's Chloe, and I'm not elevated. My name's Chloe, and sometimes I'm not mature. Lock me up. And then the other thing I wanted to say, it was right on the tip of my tongue. It'll come back to me. That's the general sentiment I want to end with this entire conversation. If you are a team and half of your team members feel like they cannot rely on you, instead of becoming defensive and screaming at them that it's not their place to have that opinion, maybe reflect. That might be nice. Maybe reflect. Because at the end of the day, I worked with a group of people 6, 7, and 8 years ago that I could trust implicitly. I could trust them to do the job the right way, be fast, efficient, self-reliant, resilient, show up. When I tell you 6 years ago, everyone showed up every day. Everyone showed up every day. And now, 6 years later, I couldn't trust to have no call-offs in a single week. I wouldn't even put a dime on no call-offs in a single week, let alone that there's very likely that there will be a call-off a day, if not multiple call-offs a day. And I don't apologize. It's annoying. I don't care if it makes me sound like a snoot, a brown noser, difficult. I don't care. I don't care. And my friend, Brandon, who literally all he does in his free time is try to make the office nice for everyone. He buys snacks every day. Not every day. He buys snacks at Costco's, keeps the office stocked up with snacks. He puts mood lighting in. He has a star projector on the ceiling so that we can turn low lighting down and have stars project on the ceiling. And then he put other lights around the whole office so we can change them to blue to purple to white to yellow. So we can have an extremely calm, serene environment. He also bought a phone at Best Buy that you can then play Spotify on ad-free that he paid for out of his own pocket. Actually, technically, it was a gift card. Doesn't matter. He does all that. He comes in and he organizes things and files things. And every day that he works, he has to work with a call-off. So, and he's full-time. So as annoyed as I am personally, I'm more annoyed that my friend Brandon has to deal with that bullshit. And he's already said it multiple times. And can I say something else? This is going to be a whole work episode, okay? Because I said it's not just about the call-offs. It's about the entire sentiment of the team. We have ultrasound machines that everyone is supposed to stock if they use or stock in their free time. He has sent out multiple emails saying, "Hi guys, I have come into work again with the ultrasounds depleted. I have come into work again with this depleted. I have come into work again with this undone. Can we please be respectful of each other and stock the ultrasounds?" And guess what everyone does every day? Ignores him and doesn't do it. So it's the entire sentiment. You come into work when you decide to show up or when you're feeling well enough to show up, and then you don't stock the ultrasounds. You lose the lights, you lose the cords. We have cords that get broken and you're supposed to call a different department to replace the cords. Oh, they'll let them pile up. There's 15 piled up. There's about 3 people that will call that department to get the cords replaced. The general sentiment of the team is someone else will do it. Someone else will figure it out. Someone else will call that department. Someone else will stock the ultrasound. Someone else will stock the Broviac repair kits. Someone else will clean the carpet. Someone else will work if I don't feel like working. That is the sentiment. And it's getting annoying. And I won't apologize for feeling that way. I hope they listen. I'm sure they won't. Some might. But I don't care. I don't apologize. And if the sentiment is, I'm a bitch, I don't fucking care. Because guess what? At least I'm a reliable bitch. And that's that on that. It's so annoying because I literally had worked so hard to be this easy, cool, flowy girl. Oh, because I used to be so anal at work, and I worked so hard on becoming this really easy breezy girl. And guess what? It's all undone now. But again, I don't care. If I have to stick up for my friends who are getting shit on every single week at work, I will stick up for them. And that's that on that. Okay? Because he's full-time, and he didn't ask me to do it. I just know the vibe. I see the emails roll through. I see the sending out another email that seems to be being ignored. Can we please do this? Can we please be good coworkers? Can we please be reliable? And they all just get ignored. Now, let's get into tequila time. If you're from my job and you were listening just to hear the tea, the tea's done now. I finished the bottom of the cup, so you can turn it off. Bye. Hey, please start being reliable. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay. I love having my own podcast. Okay. Now, tequila time. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. Hey, ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. There's a bunch of news going on in the world of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They're all mini stories that I just want to touch on. The first is that there is a rumor going on that Erika Jayne, has been demoted to friend of. This is absolutely shocking news, although some people find it not shocking. Now, Why could it be shocking? If you don't know, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is a TV show on Bravo. And there have been a few staple castmates that have been there for years and years and years now. One being Erika Jayne, aka Erika Jayne. Her husband Tom has been in legal battles for years now. He allegedly defrauded. He was a lawyer who worked on huge class action lawsuits, and apparently, and I don't know if I need to say allegedly because I think he was actually finally found guilty of it, but I'm just going to say allegedly to be safe. He allegedly would take the settlements that he got for people in really horrific accidents and be like, oh, I'll invest it for you. Your kids will be taken care of, allegedly, in my opinion. I'll put it in the stock market. I'll do this. Don't worry. I'll be your financial, person. And that's not what he was doing. He just was taking the money in funding his lifestyle. He now has, I think, Alzheimer's or dementia. I can't really remember. He's been found guilty, I'm pretty sure, of fraud. And Erika was his wife. So we saw the entire trajectory of this as the new housewife coming on with this exorbitant wealth. Her husband, very famous lawyer. He's one of the lawyers that was on the Aaron Brockovich case. So if that's the kind of idea you can get of the type of people that he represented, really people that were down and out, okay? So we saw them come onto the scene, extreme wealth, extreme exorbitance, and to the lawsuits, to the litigations, the loss of all the wealth. And Erika had these really majorly important seasons where, she was battling. Was she part of the fraud? Should she, she had some goods, some diamonds. Should she give them back as restitution? All this stuff. I don't know if restitution's the right word. Give it back to the people that are, were defrauded. Now, this last season, it's all kind of fizzled a little bit where she hadn't been held responsible for many things in terms of she was never actually charged with anything. So it all ended up kind of coming out in the wash that maybe this was just Tom's thing and she was his wife, but that's not her fault that he defrauded people. Now, this season, she was really just a sounding board for a lot of the women. She didn't have much of her own drama going on. The biggest thing that she had going on this year was she zhuzhed up her new house. She had a designer come in. So she didn't have much of a storyline, which could be one of the reasons why it is being floated around that she got demoted to friend of, which is pretty wild because she's a staple housewife and that's her main income, not her sole income. She does other things, partnerships and this and that. But it's kind of crazy because that's her big paycheck, I'm assuming. And, she doesn't have her husband anymore, her rich lawyer husband, which I'm not saying that you need that to live. I'm just saying up until her 40s and 50s, I think she's in her 50s. She could be mid 40s. She had been, living in the lap of luxury. I don't know how I feel about that. I really enjoy Erika as a housewife. So I am kind of surprised to hear this. But at the same time, I do think Beverly Hills needs a shakeup. I'm kind of bored of it, to be honest with you. So I would be open to a new cast. I'm ready to see some young, fresh faces. And I don't necessarily mean age-wise. I just mean I'm ready for a change, to be honest with you. Next. Dorit has officially filed for divorce. Pictures leaked online. Dorit is also a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills castmate. She had been married to PK for years. And it came out this week. Her and PK had been separated. They separated on this season of the show. And it was really up in the air. Will they actually file for divorce? Will they not file for divorce? Was it a publicity stunt? No one really knew. I felt it wasn't a publicity stunt because what they were really saying and doing to each other, it doesn't seem like something you can come back from. Dorit said that PK is an alcoholic. PK said, maybe he is, but he never used that word publicly, and now she has. And, she at one point she said, like, oh, he's a really, really, really bad alcoholic or something along those lines. And PK had done a separate interview then saying, it's kind of just telling how much she doesn't understand this disease for her to use that kind of like vigor with it. And this week, photos dropped of PK kissing a tall blonde woman who apparently had been on a season of The Amazing Race. And then Dorit filed for divorce literally, I think, the next day. So that's that. I don't have much more to say on that. I hope they find happiness. And I'm sure this has definitely bought Dorit another season. I hate to sound so callous when I say that, but you know what? If she's going through a divorce, she actually will need another season of money, so I don't think she would even mind me saying that. Okay. Next. There was a really annoying headline that was written about Beyonce, about kind of her Cowboy Carter tour kind of being a flop. It was like, I'm paraphrasing here, you know, hours before Beyonce's kickoff Cowboy Carter show, much anticipated Cowboy Carter tour ticket sales in the gutter or something like that, because apparently there were still 3,000 tickets open at, I want to say SoFi Stadium, but I could be wrong. Now, I can acknowledge that that might be true, that 3,000 tickets being open is pretty exorbitantly high. However, I would like to say at the same time, we're like on the brink of one of the worst recessions since the Great Depression. So I think it's kind of annoying for the headline to just be like, Beyonce's tour flopping. Okay, can we like acknowledge that we have said tariffs more in the last 6 months than I didn't even know what a tariff was 6 months ago. We have said tariffs more in the last 6 months than I've said any word in my entire life. We're on the brink of a recession. The financial economic state is totally unknown. Do we not forget that 3 weeks ago, like literally the world stock market crashed for like a week? It is so annoying to just be like, Beyonce's a flop. I don't care if you like Beyonce or not. There's freaking financial context to what's going on right now. Can we acknowledge that? Secondly, I would like to say that she just came off of a tour last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember when her last tour was. Me personally, whenever I go to spend money, especially on a concert, I will tend to not go to someone I've seen before, because if there's 30 people I want to see, I will tend to not repeat concerts unless I really, not repeat concerts, repeat artists, because I would rather see someone I've never seen before than see someone that I've already seen once. Like, for example, I saw Lady Gaga. Why did I say Gaga? It's because I have to pee. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I saw Lady Gaga during the Joanne. I never know if it's Joanne or Joanna. I cannot stand when people, because Joanne would be Joann. And like if you, or Joanna, I don't really know, but I saw her during the Joanne tour. So for me, like I've seen Lady Gaga up close and personal. So I know she's having another Abracadabra tour right now. What is the name of her new album? Majestic, Mayhem. That's what it is. So I don't necessarily, if I'm gonna spend $400 or $500 on a concert ticket, which I'm not. I am the perfect example of why Beyonce's tour is, quote, flopping. I am literally a consumer. My favorite pastime is consuming, whether it be financially consuming people's merch, financially consuming a tour, financially consuming a weekend away. Even I'm not spending money right now outside of like treating myself to a piece of makeup or like a shirt, okay? I am someone who is more than happy to fly to Florida for a comedy show, fly to Chicago for a concert. Like that is what I do. I have no kids, for Christ's sakes. Even I'm not spending money right now in that kind of way because the financial question marks going on right now with everything. So if me, who tends to literally love to spend money for no reason other than memories, if even I'm not spending money right now, maybe that's why people aren't buying tickets to the Cowboy Carter tour. Also, like I said, if I'm going to be spending $300 or $400 or $500 on something and I've seen Lady Gaga, maybe this time I would see Beyonce because I've never seen her before. So people that already went to her tour a year ago, they already saw her within the last year or two. So if they're going to spend $500. Maybe they haven't seen Kendrick Lamar and they want to see Kendrick Lamar's tour. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why people might not be spending money right now outside of it just being like Beyonce in her flop era. I just thought that that was so rude to say when there's clearly things going on right now in this world that are kind of crazy. Next, and this is really fabulous. Hannah, Berner, and Paige DeSorbo. You may know them from Giggly Squad. You may know them from Summer House. They just announced that they're starting a new show on YouTube called Hannah and Paige Try New Things. It's launching May 5th. Oh my God, my legs are really not in an okay situation right now. Let me get comfy. Okay. And in fact, because I'm feeling a little, what's the word? I'm kind of feeling in this like F it mode where I'm just need to live my life and be me right now because one, the stuff with work is annoying me so drastically. Two, I already feel like a robot this episode. I'm just kind of in a weird mood, okay? And because you know why? This is why. I try to act like things don't bother me, but they really do. I'm really quite sensitive and I'm really quite emotional. Look at how comfy I look now, okay? I'm quite sensitive and I'm quite emotional. If you say something to me, I essentially take that to heart all the time. Sorry if my audio was just really annoying for a second. I had to get comfy and I'm just going to be real with you guys right now, okay? We're seeing a side of my podcast that you've never seen, which is just me speaking. Actually, you've seen that every week, but you know what I'm saying. If someone says something to me, sometimes, most of the time, I actually take it to heart. I don't think people realize that. I'm an extremely emotional person, okay? Insensitive. Not in a good way. It's a huge detriment of mine. For example, last year, I used to wear this cherry shirt all the time. And someone commented, the attachment you have to that cherry shirt is kind of not okay. I never wore it again. Like, I truly never wore it again. Someone else said to me once, I was wearing a sweater a lot. Someone said that sweater has a chokehold on you. I never wore it again. It kind of like embarrassed me a little bit, okay? So last week, someone, I told you a few people in my life called me negative. And it's just been ruminating in my mind for like a week. Like, I'm just like to me, and I won't be crying. I'm not going to cry. So 2 people told me I was negative because I'm involved in, I am constantly talking about politics right now, okay? Then a girl at work called me tacky, and they're all ganging up on me saying that I'm picking on this poor person that has this health ailment when that's not what happened. It's just not what happened. I didn't say this person's name. I said the Calloffs are getting out of control because people have been getting shit on for the last year of you guys calling off when you don't fucking feel like working. That's just the fact of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. Sometimes they are sick. Sometimes they are not and they don't want to come to work. I know that for a fact because they literally tell me that. Okay? So then this girl's calling me tacky for literally wanting to try to stick up for myself and my friend who have gotten fucking raked through the coals of having to work alone for the last year. And a few other people that never call off that have just had to get fucking shit on for the last year. Okay? Because at the end of the day, can I also just be real about something and not be PC about something? If you have a twinge of a headache, fucking take a leave and come to work. Maybe that's toxic. Maybe that's that millennial toxicity that they talk about where millennials are the least call off generation since the Great Depression or something. So maybe that's toxic of me to say. But there is a difference between you having a stomach bug and fucking shitting and pissing out of your mouth and out of your ass and you waking up with a twinge of a headache and calling off. And maybe that's a toxic nurse thing that I think people should just tough it, but sometimes fucking tough it. If you know that you're going to be fucking your friend over, just suck it up. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel. So this girl's calling me tacky. The entire team is making me out to be a monster when that's just not the fact of the matter. And I should be pissed at them. I should be pissed at them. They're pissed at me. I'm pissed at them. Honestly, you're gaslighting me. Okay? And it's just in my mind. And now I'm going, oh, I am, and like, I am negative. I am this. I am that. And that's just not true. Or maybe it is. I don't care. And like, this is me. And I guess like fucking figure it out if you like it or not. I don't really know. Like, but this is the era I'm in right now. Like, can we just be real and not act like we're not going to hell in a fucking handbasket, and you should be able to rely on your coworkers, and you should be able to rely on your president to not be fucking evil psychopath? Like, why am I being made to feel like I'm like this unreasonable, cold-hearted bitch who needs to just let people, I guess, do whatever the fuck they want and shit on you and not come to work and be unreliable? And if the government is being cruel psychopaths, I should just not talk about it and let it happen. And then if I do talk about it, or I do stand up for myself, or I do say the Calloffs are getting out of control and you guys are being really inconsiderate to your coworkers, because granted, I sent a huge long message back when she called me tacky. I was like, yeah, this is tacky. You guys calling off is tacky. You guys being unreliable is tacky. Like, I think that your message to me is tacky while we're running around here with 50% call-offs like fucking assholes, running around here like chickens with our head cut off, and you want to call me tacky in a message? And then I get made to feel like I'm negative. Well, guess what? It's freaking negative times, guys. Sorry if I'm in my feels. Sorry if I'm a little freaking down right now. Like, I'm sorry. Who the hell isn't? You know? But whatever. I guess the people that just stick their head in the sand, or the people that are calling off living lives of luxury, I really don't know. But anyway, so that's why I just like wanted to chat, because I'm feeling mentally like I'm feeling misunderstood. That's what it is. I'm feeling misunderstood right now. And I think I should take a page from Paige DeSorbo, because she said, I heard her say in a clip the other day that like maturing for her is not caring anymore if you feel misunderstood. And maybe that's what I need to start doing. Maybe I just need to not care if I feel misunderstood. But it really bothers me when people paint me as like this like negative, wicked bitch, because that's just not it. I'm just sticking up for myself, and I'm sticking up for people who can't stick up for themselves against the administration. And maybe I say it in a bitchy way, but guess what? Sometimes it needs to be said in a bitchy way. That's just a fact of the matter. But I got off track. I got on a tangent because I'm feeling crazed right now. So what I wanted to say is Hannah and Paige announced a new YouTube show called Hannah and Paige Try New Things. And I'm so excited about it. Can I tell you why? And if you guys are watching on YouTube today, it's a real treat, because I'm flopping around on this beanbag. I'm adjusting my camera. It's some really behind the scenes hard-hitting stuff, and I'm kind of loving it. I'm loving the rawness of it all, to be honest with you. So the reason I'm excited is because I feel that YouTube is a dying art form. I feel that YouTube is one of the best platforms ever. And of course, there was a huge fall off after like Makeup Gate, which was, I think, in like 2020, 2021, where there was a huge implosion in the makeup community on YouTube. Jeffree Star said YouTube was dead and all this stuff. Okay. I love YouTube. I love long form content. I love that you kind of get to know these people, and it's like a reality TV show, but really self-produced, but not in a bad way where you censor yourself. It's actually more uncensored. It's more just raw and real. Some of the most famous women on the face of the earth now, Emma Chamberlain, so on and so forth, Jackie Aina. I don't know if she's one of the most famous people, but I just mean people that are like staple content creators. They started on YouTube, and that's where people really got to know these girls or really got to know these guys and felt a kinship to them. I love YouTube. It gets sad every day that the YouTube algorithm makes it really hard to find people, and YouTube is one of the hardest platforms to break in on. I would love to be a YouTuber. That would be my dream, but I'm scared to be a YouTuber because it is just so impossible to break into that world. One of the main ways you have to break into that world now is to really you basically almost have to be like a kind of like, it's almost like you have to comment on other people's lives or drama. Like, a huge world of YouTubers right now is like drama commentary. So I don't want to go on and just talk about other people to make a name for myself. For example, if you say, talking to Tequila reacts to Ethan Klein and Hassan drama, you will get clicks for sure, because people want to hear you talk about that drama. I don't want my entire platform to be other people's shit. You know what I mean? So for me, I haven't had the cojones to jump in full time there, but Paige and Hannah starting this TV show where they basically go around and vlog and they do new things and try new things. To me, it is a little glimmer of hope that maybe YouTube is making a comeback, because I'm kind of getting sick of short form content right now. And lastly, for Tequila Time, Sinners Weekend 2 has grossed $45 million. So they are now at $161 million revenue. And apparently, remember, it cost $90 million to make, plus another several tens of millions of dollars for promotion. So it was roughly estimated that it cost $150 million to make in total, including marketing. And they are now at $161 million. And what did I say? I said that they were going to fucking crush it. I said it. I called it. I'm a genius. Now, am I really a genius? No. Did I just know that this movie, I know a good movie when I see one. I know good actors when I see one. I know good storyline when I see one. I know good director when I see one. And I knew that this movie was going to freaking crush these haters. Remember, Variety came out and Variety said, their little bitchy ass headline, Sinners has big opening debut despite large hill to have profit. I'm paraphrasing, allegedly, in my opinion, I'm paraphrasing. And Ben Stiller came out and was like, what the hell's up with this shady ass headline? I'm paraphrasing again. And I said, oh, they freaking debuted on Easter weekend and they're going to crush it the next weekend. People were out with their families that weekend. I think the next weekend's going to be just as hot. And guess what? I was freaking right. I knew it. And I just want to say, yes, honey, good job freaking crushing it. They're about to be the highest grossing movie in like a decade, I think they said, for an original screenplay, original concept. Because, we're in the land of remakes now. And lastly, see, God damn it, I'm already at an hour and I still want to talk about politicking and I still want to talk about Tequila Time, The Last of Us. Okay, I'm just going to quickly say it because I have to pee so bad I might have a heart attack, which I'm sure my coworkers would love. Anyways, politicking. Amazon announces that they will specifically highlight tariff upcharging. So they are now going to, when you're checking out, have a line that says the amount that you are paying on tariffs, because they don't want to take the hit for these increased pricing because of the tariffs. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is because Trump's press secretary came out and said that it is a hostile and political act of Amazon. Amazon is going to be highlighting the increased price of tariffs. Tariffs were brought on by Donald Trump, and now Donald Trump's press secretary is saying that Amazon's act is hostile and political. And why didn't they do that when Biden's inflation was so high? Why didn't they highlight that? Well, because inflation just happens sometimes, and inflation is a complex thing that has to do with markets, and COVID was happening, and there's 1,000 other reasons. Inflation doesn't happen because a president says, starting now, inflation. That's not what happened. But what happened was Donald Trump said, starting now, tariffs. So the reason, press secretary, that they didn't say that during inflation is because that's not how inflation works. And tariffs are a direct reflection of Donald Trump's actions in Donald Trump's executive orders. You ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ring a ding ding. Is anyone home? Ring a ding ding. Do you understand? Tariffs are a direct reflection of Donald Trump swinging his dick around. Okay, I hope that helps you. Now, I love that the billionaires are fighting. Maybe they'll keep fighting. You know, the 60 Minutes executive producer just stepped down. He said he's being basically policed with what the 60 Minutes is able to say now, which, by the way, freedom of the press. This executive producer of 60 Minutes just said that he is not able to have the journalistic freedom that is needed to do his job correctly without bias, so he's stepping down. And everyone's still saying, oh, you're throwing fascism around. Am I? The Pope just had his funeral. Crickets. Not a single person acknowledged Trump. It was crickets when he walked in. President Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, walked in. It was a roaring applause. Hello, when the entire world's leaders will not fuck with you except for Russia. That's not me. That's not me being fear-mongering. Literally the entire world thinks it. If you don't want to think it still, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. So I love that the billionaires are fighting. I hope they keep fighting, because the one thing about, if you start to mess with a man's ego or mess with his wallet, oh, honey, they'll go at it. And I think Trump's doing that with a lot of people right now. Go fight amongst yourselves. I guess the lowly people will still be the ones to try to fight for their freedoms and democracy. It's like so exhausting at this point, isn't it? Aren't you guys tired? Aren't you tired of all these people that are supposed to be like in charge or leaders or this or that, like just doing nothing? And it's literally like the little people down here like fighting. It's just exhausting, isn't it? Okay, next. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to say about the tariffs thing and about Trump and the press secretary. Oh, the press secretary said, and that's why we should continue. Oh, she said that Jeff Bezos had started working with a like Chinese propaganda company or something, allegedly, and that this is the reason we need to start buying things in America. What the fuck? For the 1000th time, you say that tariffs, the intention with tariffs is to buy American made, but you didn't give anyone the time or resources to have American infrastructure to do that. And at the same time, you're saying that the tariffs are actually just a negotiation tactic, and if you get your way, that you'll take them away. So you can't have both. Are tariffs meant to make things made in America again, or are they made as a negotiation tactic, and if people comply with you, you'll cancel tariffs? Because they contradict themselves. Okay. Lastly, this is a huge spoiler alert. Huge spoiler alert for The Last of Us. If you need to get to your phone to pause it, get to it now. Okay. I just want to say to anyone that knew what was coming in season 2, episode 2 of The Last of Us, fudge you deeply. The Last of Us is based off a video game, so apparently there's a large group of people who played The Last of Us who knew that in season 2, episode 2, Joel, who is Pedro Pascal, is going to get beat to a pulp and then stabbed in the neck and killed. And they just let us witnessed that horror. Horror! Horror! Pedro Pascal is the only reason I watched that show. Pedro Pascal is my favorite character on that show. Pedro Pascal is one of my favorite actors of all time. And what I witnessed on a show that I watch because Pedro Pascal's on the show got beat up by a bitch named Abby to a pulp, face smashed in 1,000 times, and then she took a knife and killed him. And now what? I'm supposed to just watch the rest of the season? I mean, now did I watch episode 3? Of course. But like, I cannot stand these shows, and I get it. I get that it had to happen. I get that it's based off of a video game, and so you need to be accurate. I get all that. But like, what the fuck? I thought during the most difficult political time in my adult life, when I feel like in the most difficult political time in my adult life, when Pedro Pascal's out here wearing shirts that say protect the dolls, being vocal against his administration, I thought every week I was going to get to sit on my couch and clap and ride for him. Only to find out he's freaking gone. Gone. Now, I love zombie shows, so I'm going to keep watching it, but like, I'm just devastated. I'm actually me and my boyfriend were watching the episode, and we just kept saying, like, over and over and over again, like, no, it's not possible. This isn't possible. This is not possible. And it was. And it's devastating. Now, this week's Sva Sva, I didn't mention it earlier in the show. Chic, c'est la vie. Sva Sva goes to Meghan Markle, if you can believe it. Okay? And I know that this is kind of shocking because generally I don't care about the royals. It's just not. I just don't care. You guys already know this. I don't care. But Meghan Markle was on her, I don't know if she was on her podcast or she was being interviewed. See, that's how much it's not relevant to me. But I watched a little clip of it, and she was makeup free, which was fabulous. I actually don't care if women wear makeup or not. There's like this big sentiment like you should like love yourself and don't wear makeup or don't wear makeup and be yourself and do. I think women should actually do whatever they want to be happy. But like I feel like people police women now so much so that like if you are not au natural, like you're an enemy or something. Do whatever you want. Wear makeup, don't wear makeup, get filler, don't get filler, lose weight, don't lose weight, gain weight. I don't care what you do, so long as you're following your own heart, okay? She came on and she was talking about her morning routine, and she was like, if I can have time to make the kids their lunch pails, I make them. If I have time to do the drop-off, I do them. If I don't have time to do the drop-off, my nanny takes them. We've had a nanny for 5 years. And I just thought that was fabulous. She's like, I wish I could say I wake up and meditate. I don't. Like, remember when J-Lo woke up, she did an interview a few years ago. They're like, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? She's like, I lay in my bed and I say my gratitudes. It's like, oh my God, there is no way. And if you do, you've made too much money. Like, seriously. Like, we have to be real. When I wake up straight away, the first thing I do is pee because I have a small bladder. I have a bladder the size of you would think I've had 10 kids, and I haven't. Like, the first thing I do is I wake up, I push my dog off my chest because I'm almost peeing myself, and I run to the bathroom, and then I come back in bed, and I get back under the covers and go back to sleep. And that's what I do. And then when I wake up again in like an hour, I pee again straight away. And then I go on Instagram. It's so bad for me. But like, I kind of love that Meghan Markle was just like, yeah, I don't meditate, I don't have time for that. I'm running around trying to get the kids ready. If I have meetings, I take them. Or if I have meetings, my nanny takes them. And if I don't have meetings, I try to take them. Like, yes, honey. People always say Meghan Markle's like so fake and contrived and all this. And I felt like that was very authentic. And I just like that people are still trying to shit on her every day. And she's just living her life. And I kind of enjoy it, okay? Now, I'm so sorry that this week was a bitch fest 101. I had to just speak my truth. I am very frustrated. That is how I'm feeling right now about work. You guys were my sounding board. If you don't agree with me, just be gentle. I know it can come off as a little bit of like, girl, what are you, like a freaking the hall monitor? I get it. I think if you guys put yourself in my shoes, like if you work short, like literally every time you worked for 6 months, 8 months, whatever, maybe there was one shift where we were fully staffed. I don't freaking know. But you would get what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, you're just like, what the fuck? Okay. So anyways, I'm sorry. I'm trying. I don't know if I'm negative or not now. My mind is, I don't even know my own truth. My mind, I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. Can't we all just agree? We're doing the best we can. Maybe next week I'll snort a Smartie and get hyped up and in a good mood. And, maybe next week I'll just be like a butterfly. But as of right now, I'm doing the best I can, you guys. And I think that's all we can do, okay? So until next week, rate, review, subscribe, like, follow, share. Bye.